Today is April 17th, 2020, and I'm going to be talking about our rights as they occur in the U.S. Constitution, both in the Bill of Rights and the addendums that occur thereafter. I'm going to be doing this in a one take to the best of my ability. I'm not going to go back and edit it, so this is just going to be an ad hoc presentation, and I'm just going to say what's on my mind at the time that I see it. Alright, but what I intend to do with this video today is to give some hopefully short and concise points about why just looking at the Constitution of the United States of America and the addendums after, why this is all BS, guys, and why we have to reject it right away. All right, what I'm going to present to you are some of the relevant amendments that I'm not trying to cherry pick, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. All right, so let's get right into it. Reason number one, why C virus plandemic is unconstitutional and we should not be going along with it by any matter of the mind. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for redress of grievances. I see at least three things right there that have already been violated, where the government has gone rogue on, and why we must dissolve this rogue government, and why we must just resist. We must say no. No more. Not another day of this. No, no, no. Prohibiting the free exercise. They've prohibited our free exercise of religion by gathering. Even drive-up services. We've tried to get inventive. And they're recording our license plates because we're defying the order? This is tyranny, guys. This is frickin' tyranny. Do not go along with it. Even if you're not a religious person. I mean, they're going to tell you you can't go to your Comic-Con gathering. I mean, that should worry you. You can't go see your next opening of Star Wars or whatever icon thing that's replaced your religious dogma in your life. You're no longer allowed to gather. Peaceably assemble. That goes right along with it. This right here alone is why we should be revolting. Peaceably assemble. Freedom of speech? Oh, you bet that's violated. They're telling you can't be out with signs protesting, speaking up about it. You can be arrested for being in a park by yourself on a beach. No, that's definitely a violation of freedom of speech. Anyway, moving right along. Get ready for Amendment 2 to be violated here, more than it already has. Amendment number 3, I've heard some things. No soldier shall in time of peace be recorded in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. I've heard some things, but I'm not going to say them in this video because it's only speculation, and again, I'm doing a one take. But count on this one to be violated too. Amendment number 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Now this one right here, people are openly interpreting but upon probable cause. That can mean anything. Supported by oath or affirmation. Oh, some jackbooted thug, i.e., our great governors, have decided that it's necessary to lock the state down. Let's go ahead and do it. No, this has been violated too, and I'll tell you why. There's a later addendum to this in another amendment. There's a reason why they had to make another amendment to this, because tyranny occurred early on with this amendment. This one has been revised in another amendment, which I'll talk about later. But already we're being the right to be secure in our persons, houses, papers, and effects. No. That's already been violated with the draconian surveillance that they do. You know, it's like, oh, well, the private corporations do it. It's not the government. Okay, so they found a way around it. But the corporations are selling it back to the government. You bet on that. You can bet on that. They're licensing these private companies to collect data on their behalf. You're not secure in your persons, houses, papers, and effects unless you unplug those devices, of course. And even then, who knows? Amendment number 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on the presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in a militia, when in actual service or in time of war or in public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense twice be put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. This one has been grossly violated. There are already people being fined over $1,000 for going against this, for walking in the street, for opening their business. And what they don't understand is you don't have to pay these fines based on this amendment right here, because you have not went through a jury yet. You have not been convicted of this crime yet. A cop cannot convict you of a crime. Only a court can. So issuing citations and fines, and you paying them without going to court for them first? No, it's invalid. That's a voluntary business transaction. They cannot uphold that based on Amendment 5. That right there, that defeats it. So, right now, we already know that there's no way they can legally enforce it. Amendment 6. In criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witness against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. That's also being violated. Think about it. People being thrown into a cage because they're making trouble. They're not getting a speedy trial. Did you hear FEMA powers, how they were enacted? The right to detain people indefinitely? Who knows when people who are arrested now are going to get out? They may never get out. All while they're releasing real criminals from real penitentiaries. Think about that one. Think about that one. Those people who already have that mindset, who are criminals, how much you want to bet eventually they'll get a job as law enforcement? You really need to let that sink in, guys. Need to let that sink in. Get off your freaking couches. Stop watching TV. Stop listening to the radio. They're lying to you. Just stop. Amendment 7 is not applicable at all. It pertains to civil suits. Amendment 8. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Excessive fines imposed. Yeah, definitely a violation of Amendment 8. Cruel and unusual punishments inflicted? Yet to be seen, but I'm sure they're going on. Eventually footage will come out where abuse on people in jails are being overloaded. Definitely that family that was arrested in a Michigan park for doing nothing, a guy that was arrested in front of his daughter, I'd say that's a cruel and unusual punishment just for being out and about with your family. But what do I know, right? What do I know? Impartial jury, getting back to that. Who's to say that the jury's going to be impartial? They'll probably pick them just like they appoint all the other people. Anyway, Amendment 9. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Okay, this is getting back to what I was saying earlier about Amendment 4. Probable cause, the Reformation, okay. What this is basically saying, you're not going to interpret the Constitution any way you want to. You're going to follow it as it was worded and to take the meanings of what the original writers meant during the time of its inception. You don't get to retrospectively enact a new way of thinking about it because it fits the current situation. We don't just uproot our country and stop what we're doing and living our lives the way we are living them just because some person says, oh, well, there's a new threat and we need to deal with it by enacting these draconian policies. No, 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 no. I call bullshit. I'm not allowing it. I say no. You should too. Amendment number 10, and this is one they've severely exploited. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution or prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or the people. What this means is they've used the 10th Amendment to lock down the states, is what it is. This is why we're closed. Because they've handed the power over to the governors, and the governors have become 50 little mini presidents. And they don't know what the heck they're doing. They're getting their orders from the cartel members over at the District of Criminals in Washington, is what they're doing. There was a couple of other things I wanted to say. You can read some of this stuff. Just pause the video and read. There's a couple little things I could nitpick about, but for the sake of this video, it's too far reaching. I could say Section 1 of Amendment 14. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Oh, sorry, that's where I was. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property. You can't get much more in your face than that. I think I could end right there. None of this stuff is going to court. None of this stuff was voted on by us. None of us said yes to this. Why are you? I'm going to stop there. Maybe end with a few quotes. But I'll click a few other pages here so you can see the rest of the addendum amendments. Look at that one. I particularly like this one. 27. No law varying the compensation for services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. That one's broken on a daily basis. Well before this pandemic occurred. But let me leave you on a few moral notes. This first paragraph right here says it all. And this is the mindset we need to have. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to